even though that's a business thing, it holds more weight in the first movie because it's between family. It's a big disagreement between between father and son in that, like the book rights issue. And like the fact that he is firing Walt because he wants to force his son to build something for himself. Like so yeah, it's a business move to fire Walt, but it's
Yeah.
it's a personal family thing, which is why that holds more dramatic weight.
Where were you? Photographing squirrels? You're fired.
Chief, the planetarium party.
Oh, right. You're unfired. I need you. Come here.
You don't have any friends. Nobody likes you.
Not listening. Not listening.
I shot him 6 times. I shot him in the heart. This guy, this man, he's not human.
You think you could steal from us and just walk away?
Yeah. Welcome back to another episode of Get a Load of This Movie, a franchise movie podcast where we talk about movies that are a part of a franchise that means 3 movies or more. Today we are continuing a series. Well, we're actually in the middle of 2 series, but we are continuing our Knives Out series. We are going into Knives Out, or Glass Onion, and a Knives Out mystery. I tripped over my words a little bit there, but Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery that is streaming on Netflix. Go check it out. Speaking of Netflix, there's a little bit of news recently that I wanted to bring up because I had some thoughts on it, and I wanted to it's a little bit of a theory, a little bit of a conspiracy theory, but I wanted to run it by you guys to see what you thought of it and see if you guys had any other thoughts on this this news that we heard over the weekend. Netflix is buying out Warner Brothers. They're buying out Warner Bros. They're buying out HBO, HBO Max, all the properties they own, their studios. I believe it's everything except their cable networks. So everything that directly competes with Netflix, they are buying out. That is insane. Netflix is the #1 streaming platform, and HBO, I believe, is number 2. Or no, I'm sorry, number 3. I believe it's number 3. With Amazon Prime being number 2. I don't know what you guys call that, but we call that in the business world a monopoly. So I'm not a huge fan on it. But here's my theory. I wanted to see what you guys think of this. I don't think this is going to go through. I don't think this is going to end up happening. And I don't think Netflix even plans on it happening. I think Netflix did this on purpose because when you go through this and your assets are being acquired, in the world, you cannot use that. So HBO Max, Warner Brothers would not be able to produce anything new for the next 2 years because of this. Because it is now on hold. It's all being looked at. It's all being investigated to make sure, because this is going to open up a very an investigation into it to make sure that to see if this would count as monopoly, which it will. And so I think what Netflix is trying to do is I think they're trying to take out a competitor for a year and a half. Maybe it's a year, maybe it's 2 years. I think they're trying to take them out for a decent bit of time. So everything that's currently in the works, so the Harry Potter series that's currently in the works, I think all the other movies that are currently in the works, there's a few DC projects, those can continue, but anything new cannot be started, is my understanding of it. I did a little bit of research, and so I think that is Netflix's game here, because there is also some precedent that our president, Donald Trump, he has said, because he would have to approve a merger of such to say, like, this is not a monopoly. And he has said that he would not, or I don't think he said he would not, but he said which one he would want them to merge with.
Why would HBO, because HBO has to agree to the deal.
Yes.
Warner Brothers has to agree to the deal
Yes.
to get to this point. And if Netflix's whole plan was to just cut the legs out of HBO temporarily, then why would why would Warner Brothers even agree to that to begin with?
So I believe Paramount's offer was about $30 per share. It was something like that. And I think Netflix's was $38. So I think they would still be making more money. Warner Brothers, as I understand it, the reason they're looking to sell is because they are in a lot of debt. So they are drowning right now. And I think having the money, they wouldn't get it until the sale goes through. But I think overall, I think that would be positive for them. I am not exactly sure. It's a good point, though, because if it doesn't go through, and it's obvious that it doesn't go through, then why even entertain it? But I mean, it's not their decision to say what is and what is not a monopoly. I mean, if someone's saying your companies they're worth 38 per share, that still drives up the price. So I think overall they would still benefit from it, even if they have to have projects frozen or they couldn't produce anything new for a year and a half or so long.
Corey, that's a lot of good money talk there. I can't speak in that same realm as concisely and accurately as you can. I can answer it from like what I think about the deal from it, if it were to go through from just an audience / person movie enthusiast perspective.
I'd love to hear that.
The common consensus, so this is not like a hot take from me here, bad, hate it. I'm a Stranger Things person. We all like Stranger Things, so I'm not like shitting on Netflix as a whole here. It has its place. I like a lot of the purpose Netflix serves as like a streamer. I don't want a giant catalog of film, IP, history, resources, all that under the Warner Brothers umbrella to fall under the domain of a streamer like Netflix, because a lot of comments from the Netflix CEO like Ted Sarandos, something like that, don't like it. He's kind of downgrades, the theatrical experience and kind of minimizes it and makes it seem like it's not important, which I disagree. And I think we'll probably end up talking about it a lot today, what the theatrical experience really means for certain movies.
Yeah.
When I say today, I mean, we're recording 2 episodes today, just a peek behind the curtain. Glass Onion debuted on Netflix. And, maybe we do have a conversation with that as well. We're also recording our next episode, Way of Water, as well today. So that more so with that. The other thing is it seems like Netflix, also has a lot of, standards or regulations of how they want certain things to look. And that's just not the environment that I think, a film studio, like putting things out theatrically, should have. You want diversity of styles and, perspectives and all that. Just in the way that a monopoly in general, from the business perspective is not good. You want competition. You want different approaches to, to compete with other movies, other studios, other artists, blah, blah, blah. You want that differentiation. And if it's all under one umbrella, then they could all kind of start to blend together. That's not the media landscape I want to live in. So answering from that perspective, I can do that. Hope it doesn't go through. Corey, I hope your theory is correct. I'm rooting for that. But yeah, I'm just kind of in a wait and see, I think, with everyone else at the moment.
I really don't think it's going to go through. I don't think the Netflix CEO is doing himself any favors, but I think that's more of a court of public opinion, more so than the legal court. I think he's going to get more and more actors to go against or like kind of boycott the studio as much as they can.
Yeah, I know the DGA, the Directors Guild, is they're kind of gathering up to like talk with Netflix about their concerns with it. The Writers Guild might do something. I'm not sure. I mean,
I've seen SAG-AFTRA.
There's a lot of pushback.
They've had a lot of their public speakers come out and make statements. I saw the president, Sean. Who's their president? Who's the main
Sean
SAG
Astin.
guy? Sean Astin. That's right. I saw he made a statement. Yeah. Look at that. Back to Stranger Things. And he's a Netflix guy. He's been on Netflix before. The Goonies is on Netflix right now. Not that he's
Watch
sure he
the
doesn't see a
Goonies,
lot of
everybody.
that money. Well, if you want to. But yeah, I really don't think this is going to go through. I think the sale of this is going to be hard to anyone that is looking to buy. I mean, I think the most likely that isn't going to cause like a big lashback is Comcast, and who owns Peacock.
Universal.
I believe it's Peacock, because Paramount's the other big one. But I think Paramount's up there with streaming services, and they have a partnership with Amazon. And so I think that's going to be considered, or not Amazon, Amazon. And so I think that's going to fall under a very similar vein, but I think they have a more realistic chance, and they're putting up a more realistic offer. So I honestly don't think this is going to go through. I think this is a smokescreen. I think Netflix is also trying to hold off the sale to anyone else. So I think they're trying to say, like, no, it's us. We're going to be doing it. Like, you guys can't bid. You guys can't do this. I think they're just trying to keep themselves on the top until they're certain a merger with HBO with someone else is not going to put them out of business or take them off the number one spot. But yeah, I'm excited for Batman to be in the next season of Stranger Things. That's what I'm most excited about with this. I think The Dark Knight needs to be there. Robert Pattinson just showing up. That'd be great. I think it'll be very interesting to see and keep eyes on. I don't think we're going to get a resolution anytime soon. I think that's going to be the can's going to be kicked down the road time and time again until eventually it just fizzles out and Netflix doesn't end up buying them. But Netflix sent out all this sort of stuff. Anyway, we'll just have to keep an eye on them because it will be very interesting to talk about that conversation in terms of movie releases in theater, how it affects other sort of projects, how it limits projects. It'll be interesting to see that kind of stuff and the effects that it has on the industry. But without further ado,
even the opening scene, there's always some random girl who gets a call that undoubtedly ends up getting her killed. It's also predictable. There's no element of surprise. You can see everything coming. Ah!
Did that surprise you?
Why?
Because you talk too much. Now shut the fuck up and watch the movie.
Cole, before you start, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Corey. I am one of the hosts of this podcast, and I am with.
Hey, what's up? I'm Cole.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, I'm Zach. This is my. I don't usually sound like this, as many of you know. We're gonna say this is my flu game. I'm pretty under the weather. I'm sure that's quite evident in the voice.
He's
Hopefully
being so
it's.
brave, though.
I'm gonna try.
He is the bravest boy we've ever met.
It takes a lot out of me to give these takes, but I'm gonna do my best to deliver them for you. And also, it was getting to the point where if we didn't record this, we were gonna be set behind because we already kind of we had a bit of a docket of episodes to round out the year, and if we didn't record this today, I just don't know if we were gonna get it done. So yeah, it would have been tough.
That's okay.
So, yeah,
that's okay.
We're doing it.
That's
what we're doing.
We're doing it. Cole, what happened in this movie?
Boy, a lot happened. Miles Braun hosts a murder mystery weekend at his Glass Onion mansion in Greece, inviting his friend group, the Disruptors, douchebags, plus Detective Benoit Blanc, who was mysteriously added to the guest list. The mansion is powered by Clear, a volatile hydrogen-based fuel that Miles plans to release despite safety concerns from Lionel and Claire. Tensions rise when Andy Brand arrives, estranged from the group after being ousted from Alpha and losing a lawsuit against Miles. Blanc instantly solves a staged murder mystery and warns Miles that his friends all have real motives to kill him. Duke suddenly dies after drinking Miles' glass, sparking panic, suspicion of poisoning, and a power outage that scatters the guest. Andy appears to be shot, and Blanc announces he has solved her murder. Flashback. Andy actually died a week earlier, and her twin, Helen, hired Blanc. Helen impersonates Andy at a party to uncover the truth. Each disruptor had a motive to protect Miles, having relied on him for power, money, or reputational survival, and all had visited Andy on the day that she died. Blanc deduces Miles killed both Andy and Duke, overdosing Andy to steal the original Alpha napkin and poisoning Duke with pineapple juice when Duke tried to blackmail him. Helen exposes Miles by destroying his mansion using Clear, proving its danger. With Miles' disgrace and powerless, the Disruptors turn on him and agree to testify as the police arrive.
One of the blaring things about this movie that I would like to address now and then not talk about for the remainder of the movie or remainder of the podcast. It is very time-stamped at the beginning. It is very time-stamped to the pandemic. Everyone's wearing masks. A lot of I think some of Duke's personality comes from the pandemic, which, I mean, that's kind of the character is, but
so many streamers kind
one
of
the reasons
who they were.
One of the reasons the first one works so well is because I felt like all the characters were more or less timeless. Like there's always a place. Like I think the most time-stamped one was the little Nazi boy, masturbating in the bathroom. I think he was probably the most time-stamped, but even that one, I think that one can you can kind of
get away with that. There have been little Nazi boys masturbating in bathrooms for a long time now, so that's
right.
Dear God, please
with
stop
this
saying
one. With this one, I think Duke's character is very time stamped to at least this decade, which is hard to like. I mean, it's kind of hard to say like, oh, is that really time stamping if you're getting it that close? But I think that does kind of define the era a little bit more. I think Miles Braun, I think those like Miles Braun, Lionel, that's his name, right? Lionel, and then
Leslie Odom's character.
well, I'm trying to I was sticking with the names of the characters in the movie.
Claire is definitely one that is time stamped for sure. The politician constantly like on TV because they have no way to be
I think
like
that's more
out
of,
in the world.
I think that's more of the way of the future. But the reason I bring it up, I don't want to go through every single character. I'm sorry, I was kind of dwelling on it a little bit. But the reason I wanted to bring it up and the reason I didn't want to talk about it again is because I feel like that it very much limits the movie. And not only limits the movie for how rewatchable it is, because if I'm reminded about a big, nasty event that happened 6 years ago at this point, I don't know if I want to watch the movie that makes me think about it and reminds me of that. I think at the time, I think it was fine. I don't remember being like, oh my gosh, that's so egregious. But now looking back, I'm like, I don't know if that's something that you want to keep reminding people of. I don't know if that's something you want to keep, if you want to have tie your movie to, because the beginning, even towards after the big reveal that Andy is Helen, I think you get back into it. And so I disliked that part. And that was a pretty big negative for me, the timestampedness of it. But what did you guys think of that aspect of this movie? Because it was pretty big.
Yeah, the cameos take you out. It is very time. I think the most egregious example is literally the way we meet Benoit Blanc, of him playing Among Us in the bathtub with the most random array of celebrities playing themselves. Just, do I really believe that Natasha Lyonne and, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and who was it? Was it Angela Lansbury? Was that the other one? Like, that they're all just playing Among Us together?
Yeah.
No, I don't buy that at all. That's the most, this is a Netflix movie moment of the movie, because Netflix, bought the rights for the Knives Out sequels after the first one. That was pretty egregious. I don't think it was, obviously it's like, like Benoit Blanc, great detective, is bad at Among Us. There's an irony there. That seems more like a Super Bowl commercial than like an actual like part in a movie, a standalone movie. So that I didn't like that. The Ethan Hawke is funny in his cameo. Like that's fine. That's not like a timestamp thing, but like that's another cameo that kind of takes you out of it. And then like the Serena Williams gag later. It's just like,
I think Serena Williams fits into it a little bit more.
It's all very like that. And then the celebrity name drops for like Jared Leto and Jeremy Renner. It's all very like aware of itself type of like, oh, Knives Out is a big deal now. So everyone's, getting in on it. And I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that shift in style here. And I think one big reason why, like you mentioned, it's not as timeless, Corey, as compared to the first one, because our cast of characters, they're both rich sets of people. The difference is this set are more like celebrity famous and like kind of vapid, in that sense, and they're friends, whereas the other one is like, it's a family of old money. So it's a different type of wealth. And I think that's why, and I'm not saying you have to keep it the same. Like this movie has an appeal too. I think that's just why, like, they're much more culture-based celebrities here, which is why they're so time-stamped and stuff. But even with the COVID stuff, I agree. Like, they use it to kind of reveal character in a way. Like, how does each character react to the pandemic? Are they abiding by the, the social distancing, the masking? Like Birdie J, Kate Hudson's character has like a net mask that will obviously do nothing, but it's like a stylistic thing for her. But like, she's still wearing. That's clever. That's kind of funny. But like, it's just, I don't know if us as a culture, especially now, but even especially then in 2022, if we're ready for like COVID content, like it's just so, when you were living it day to day, you don't like, and you're seeing it on the news and people, it's always constantly part of the discourse. I'm not saying, we got to sweep stuff under the rug, but I just don't think it's like, it does put you in a time and place, but not in the way that you want it to be. I think it's just too fresh still at that point, yeah.
At this point, yeah. I maybe closer now, but I still think like if you watch this movie in 20 years, I don't think you're going to get the social context of Birdie J wearing a net mask. You know, like maybe you'll see between the lines, but like even the comment about they're all in my pod that she makes, I don't know if you're going to pick up the social commentary and like what that means and like the character that it's trying to display who Birdie J is. I don't know if you'll pick that up, but at the time, I think you definitely did. Contrasting it with the first one, I think you could watch that movie in 50 years and pick up who all these characters are. I don't think there's any social or cultural points that it's tying itself to reveal character. And I think it's doing that in this one. Cole, did you have a thought about the time-stampedness
No,
of this movie?
I think you guys nailed it all on the head, like the COVID parties, Birdie, like the little cultural things, like when people would like wear their masks on their chin and be like, oh yeah, I'm wearing a mask. Like that comes across really well. Also, I do think it's funny, Zach, you mentioned Jeremy Renner and like his hot sauce that they had in this movie. Jeremy Renner is going to be in the next one. Something tells me Ryan thought, okay, it'll be fun to throw this in like a little pocket in time and have this stuff happen, but it's just that. It's a fun trying to
glad
look
you brought
back
up
on this in a
that
fun lens.
Rian Johnson thought this would be fun, because I think there is a lot of that in this movie where Rian Johnson just said, oh, this will be fun.
Like what?
I don't know if it's the sophomore slump. I don't know what it is, but it felt like at the first one, he didn't really have a boss to answer to. And it still feels like he might not have a boss to answer to, but it feels like for some reason the success of the first one may have brought more people in to give more opinions. Maybe it's something along those lines, but I specifically wanted to bring it up with the dialogue difference between the first one and this one. I think there is something to say, because the first one, I think all those characters are meant to be a certain level of like, they're competent, you know. I think all those characters are, the competency is all at least a minimum. And in this one, I think the competency kind of falls through the floor. Miles Braun, Birdie J, even Duke a little bit, they kind of like, it's like these aren't the smartest people. That's kind of what, I don't know if that's exactly what they were trying to do, but I think that's what kind of came across, is that these aren't the smartest people. And so, you know what, I guess that means the dialogue isn't going to be as interesting, because it wouldn't make sense for Duke or Birdie J, besides the monologue that Duke gives to Andy, or Helen at the time that we know. I thought that was great. You know, I thought that interesting where he's like, I'll do it. I could be honest with you. And then he kind of goes on his little tangent and kind of gives his 2 cents about all of it, kind of revealing what has happened and where they are. It's like, you could be upset, but this is the world that we're in. I thought he was great there, but it feels like that is few and far between in this movie as opposed to the first movie. Because the first movie, it felt like all of them could have some sort of like conversation like that with one another. And in this one, it feels like that is more, I don't know, the exception as opposed to the rule, you know, because Birdie J is not going to have a monologue like that. Miles Braun, I mean, he has monologues, but as Benoit Blanc points out, they're all dumb. They're all filled with words that don't mean anything. They're all filled with sayings that are used incorrectly. It's nonsense. And so I have to commend the dialogue for fitting the characters, but I almost wish you would have written smarter characters to make the movie more interesting, you know, and to like kind of like bank on what you did in the first one. So what did you think about, what you guys think about all the fun lines that Rian Johnson thought it'd be good to throw in this movie?
I think my biggest problem comes from, and this does not come from her performance, because I think she is incredibly enjoyable. It's Birdie as a character. The way the character is written is to be almost a caricature rather than a character, if that makes sense. She's not fully fleshed out. Nothing that she says is fully like real. And when all else fails, when she does become real, like the moment when she's talking about how she used to be the one on magazines and Miles was nothing, there's the sweatshop joke. So she doesn't feel fleshed out. And I think that is something that happens to most of the characters like Lionel and Claire and Helen. I mean, they're all just not fully fleshed out. Duke seems to be the most fleshed out character, and we get the least amount of time with him because, I mean, he dies, spoiler alert, but I mean, yeah.
Zach?
Yeah. I do agree with Cole that actually I do think Duke might be the character that I understand the most out of all of them. I mean, that the monologue that you mentioned, Corey, I do enjoy his, like, oh, I'll be the asshole, like, moment of, like, actual honesty there. I actually do think he might be my favorite of this new set of suspects in this movie. And it's a shame that, he's the one that goes pretty early there. But I mean,
Sorry,
it is more, the funny lines that you brought up, Corey. Like, it is more, I think this is a funnier movie than the first one.
Probably.
I laugh. I think I laugh more. It's just, yeah, I care more about the characters in the first one than I do here.
100%.
And it does go into the competency thing that you're talking about. Like, I enjoy watching smart characters. I enjoy hanging out with the characters more in the first movie than I do with the characters here, even in this lavish, beautiful vacation landscape. And I do credit the movie for going with a different vibe in that sense. And it, everything, the costumes and the cinematography, the colors of it, the music even is appropriately different here. Like, they don't just like run it back with another, like, kind of how Lakeith Stanfield said in the first one, another clue board setting of a mystery movie. Like, this is something very fresh and very new, and it is clever still, but it's just not, I'm not drawn back to this movie like I am to the first one.
Yeah.
It's missing that cozy vibe, that cozy Northeast vibe that first one has.
The Thanksgiving vibe.
And it's just, the characters are a little bit more obnoxious here. And, that's where some of the humor comes from. But that it's not as, it's not as fun to revisit, I think. Honestly, if we're like, kind of, since we're talking about the characters here, I think I'm not going to say an issue, because I want to make this clear. I don't think she's bad at all. I think she's good. But if we're actually like talking about who's a better actress, Ana de Armas is a more compelling actress than Janelle Monáe. And they kind of fill the same roles in this as like the person on the suspect list that, you're actually kind of rooting for, following, whatever. Yeah. And Janelle Monáe has to play two characters here, which is not easy. She's like a giant structural twist happens with her character halfway through. I mean, you got the odds stacked against you. And also, I love Janelle Monáe as like a musical artist. Like, I love her music. And I think she does a good job here. I mean, she's really good at Moonlight too. I think that's the first time I saw her in a movie.
Yeah, watch Moonlight.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a good one. I just think that's also part of why I'm more drawn to the first movie, because Ana de Armas and Daniel Craig is more, I like watching that more than Janelle Monáe and Daniel Craig here.
Well, Janelle Monáe in this movie is they're trying to keep her at arm's length from the audience for the first half of the movie, which I don't necessarily think helps you with connecting with her. And so when it is revealed that there's all this stuff going on and she's actually a much more compelling character, it's like, well, I mean, at this point, once we're sold, we only have like 30 more minutes with her to figure out like what's going on. And it's like, at that point, when Helen dies in this movie, I don't want to shift too far away from dialogue, but like I think this kind of goes along with it. When Helen is shot in this movie and it is believed that she is dead, and it's revealed all this stuff, it kind of just feels like we're revealing reveal after reveal after reveal after reveal. It doesn't feel like it ever stops. And once we find out that Andy is actually the one who died, and that's the murder that's being investigated during this entire movie from the very beginning, it feels pretty obvious that it was Miles. I don't think it was ever, I mean, like, yes, it was like all of them had an opportunity, but Miles is the only one that's not being tracked and not being written down. It's like, okay, well, it feels like we're kind of pointing in a certain direction at this, like with the other two with the other four not really going in it, like going forward with anything.
It's the curse of the second name in the credits again. Edward Norton is the number 2.
It might be, but I feel like that second hour of this movie, so the second half, it doesn't really do much for me. And I think it relies a lot on like, look how Miles Braun's life falls apart. Good. It's not like, I don't want to, like, it doesn't need to be dwelled on. Like, I understand, like, there's a lot going on, but like, you have all these business consequences that are going on in the background that I honestly do not care about. I really do not care about Clear. I do not care about the corporation. I like it as a way of like, or Alpha, whatever the business is called. I like it as like a medium that they're like, this is why we're getting to it. But it feels like it's coming to a point where it's like, no, the real consequences are that the business is going to explode, like business is going to implode and all these people are going to like, it feels like that's the consequences it's focusing on instead of like, Andy died, you know? Andy's actually dead. And they're focusing on something completely different. That's at least what I got from it. And I just do not care about the business consequences enough to keep myself very interested in that aspect. I will say, Zach, the island, everything that you brought up, I don't know if it was purposefully timely with that. I mean, we're talking about timestamps. I mean, there was another famous billionaire that had an island at this point that was very much in the news.
First time hearing of it.
But I wonder if that, I don't know if that was on purpose, but I mean, even with that in the back of your mind, you're like, you already are kind of painting this guy as a bad guy, you know? And so I don't know. A lot of the stuff didn't work for me. I like the island. I think it still had great lines. I think throughout there were still things that I laughed at. There were still things that I'm like, okay, that was really well done. The Duke speech, I really liked the Madeline Klein saying, I love my boobies. Oops, sorry, feminist. Yeah, sorry, feminist.
Sorry, feminist.
Yeah. I like that. I like the box at the very beginning. I thought that was actually really fun.
Yeah. I like that Daniel Craig said, like, takes a little jab at Edward Norton later and with regard to the box. He's like, oh, I received a box with some simple children's puzzles. And, you know, just like that. That's pretty good.
Yeah. But I don't know. It's just nothing like was super compelling about that side of the story. And it's like if in the first one they focus so much on the book rights, like writing, like that aspect of the movie instead of just using it as like, this is a motive, you know? It felt like that was more of the story.
I know, but but things just, that held, even though that's a business thing, it holds more weight in the first movie because it's between family. It's a big disagreement between between father and son in that, like the book rights issue. And like the fact that he is firing Walt because he wants to force his son to build something for himself. Like, so yeah, it's a business move to fire Walt, but it's a personal family thing, which is why that holds more dramatic weight, I think.
100%. I'm saying it's more of like if they were trying to like take down the book or the book business somehow, then I'd be like, oh my gosh, what are we doing? Like what? That's what it feels like with Alpha in this movie.
I mean, this movie is really clever. I mean, I feel like we're kind of giving it a negative hue to it. I mean, I agree with everything we've been saying, you know, obviously, but like this movie is still really clever. And I still remember being pretty thrilled watching it. I remember the reveal that, and I kind of wrote this down too, because I have like mixed feelings on it now, I think a little bit, and I can't really put my finger on why, but like the reveal halfway through that Andy is actually her twin, and that Benoit knew, you know, he and her have been in cahoots like, from a week prior. And so they've been Rian Johnson has been withholding information from us there.
Mm-hmm.
And then he reveals it halfway through, because if he revealed it to us from the beginning, a lot of what we're watching wouldn't be quite as dramatic, I think. And maybe it would be too obvious right away that it was Miles, given Miles' reaction to seeing Andy show up, like how shocked he is seeing her there. If we knew that he had killed Andy already, that reaction would, you know, either way. It feels a bit, it is clever. It's a clever reframing or recontextualization of everything.
You talking about the mid-movie reveal?
Yeah.
That's
it almost feels a bit cheap to me. Like, I don't like that it's something, I think, and maybe if I had to put it, and it feels unfair to say, I'm struggling to articulate why it feels a bit cheap. Might be because Benoit knew. We're not finding out with the detective. The detective was in on this.
He was told.
And I think that's why it
kind of goes back to the thing that Ana de Armas says in the first one, where it's like, you're not much of a detective, are you? You know?
Yeah, but he knows. Yeah, okay, but that's different because we find the Ana de Armas thing out way earlier than we find out the Janelle Monáe thing here. At least it seems like that. And that kind of makes sense because we're going one person by one person by one person to find out what happened. And then we get to Ana de Armas. And then the movie the next act starts from there. We have like a full half of the movie, you know, and then we go back in time, give new context to everything we've already seen.
Yes.
Yeah. It's fun. It's still a fun ride. So I don't want to make it sound like it's like I really have a problem with it. I'm just showing why, or trying to illustrate why the first one works better for me than this one. God, I have to apologize for my voice. It's so bad.
No, you're okay. You're doing
Yeah,
great.
but
You're doing great.
it's. Thank you. Thank you. I was trying to think of another example of this where they recontextualize something with a reveal, like where we go back in time and like learn something new. I think Hateful Eight, maybe. I mean, I don't want to spoil Hateful Eight for anyone who hasn't seen it, but Hateful Eight,
Love Hateful Eight.
we do go back in time and show something like about a little over halfway through. We do go back in time and show something that recontextualizes everything that followed, like everything that we already saw. But for some reason, it works for me better there. Maybe because it's just a bit better made of a movie, than Glass Onion. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's still a very clever movie. I think that's why it's not quite as fresh this time around, I think, as the crazy structural shift in the first movie.
Cole, do you have thoughts on the mid movie reveal and how that affects the plot?
I definitely think it works better for me in this one than it did in the first, just because I think the strength of the double character and the twin reveal is actually something really fun, where it's like, okay, this woman wasn't even honest with her friends, and it just shows how conniving all these people are, how mistrustful they all are. I think it works really well, personally.
Yeah. Zach, to a point that you said earlier, you were like wondering kind of, is it clever? Is it disingenuous? I think it's more of the movie trying to stay away from the classic whodunit formula, where it's like we meet the characters, and I think they stay with that for the most part in the first one to pull you in as a whodunit, and then they kind of subvert your expectations maybe halfway through, maybe a little bit. Or it was around the same time as we talked about, where we find out what happens, and then we're like, kind of, it's like a thriller almost, trying to wait and see what happens. And with this one, I feel like they're trying to do not the same thing, but they're still trying to subvert your expectations and stay away from the classic whodunit formula. So I think that's why they're doing it for the sake of doing it. They're avoiding it just because they feel like they need to avoid it. Is kind of how I felt. And I do want to say, we are talking pretty negatively about this movie. Overall, I enjoyed the movie. We talked about it in the first one. We all loved the first one. We loved the first one. And so I think there was just higher hopes and higher expectations. Not that you can ever expect a perfect movie for every single one of them in a franchise. And when there's an obvious drop, what was the difference? So that's kind of what we're getting at here.
Really? Did you do you remember if you were are you a fan of the ending? Are you satisfied by it?
I did say I actually wrote down, I will say the ending is satisfying because I think everything happens that needs to happen. You're like, okay, at least it wasn't subverting expectations so much. And then it's and it's kind of an ambiguous ending. What's going to happen? Which is kind of where it feels like it's going to land, but then it ends in a big explosion. And everyone agrees that Miles Braun was lying and killed someone, which is good that everyone can agree that he killed someone and money didn't win. But it's crazy that it took so long for money to not win. And I was like, wow, they are really taking it easy on the rich people. They must have heard Cole's criticism of the first one, where they were just taking a little too hard on all the rich people. And so in this one, they're like, let's take it easy on them. They have it hard too, But I will say the ending was satisfying.
I think I agree overall. I think the lighting up clear part, where she, starts the fire.
Mm-hmm.
I get it thematically, and it's part of the story in the script, the purpose it serves, that all works. And like you said, it's a big fiery finish. That's always, you generally want those. I don't know, something about the believability of it really does kind of I do kind of bump on it a little bit. Did she really know that it would just kind of only explode certain parts and then they would have enough time to get out? If it's I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't take that risk. They could have all burned alive in there, which
I think she was taking that risk.
And I don't like
that she was willing to sell.
And I don't like Daniel Craig encouraging it. I mean, that's just putting people at physical risk, of burning alive. I don't really love that. But I'm thinking about it too. The way it plays out, it works. But it's just that, did they know that's how that would play out? Did they know it would burn in that way? I don't know. Yeah.
See,
I don't know.
I think that goes to the fact that a good movie doesn't make you ask questions like that.
Exactly. exactly. You
You
can
know.
poke a bit of holes into the script.
Yeah.
So that's, and also another one, and I bump on, if I go the rest of my life and I never see another movie where someone survives a gunshot by having some item covering their heart,
But
I will be fine.
it was her
I'm
sister's
fine. I
book.
know people were worried, like, are you sure you'll be? I promise I will be fine. You don't need to worry about me if I don't see that again. I will live. I'll manage.
But if you see a gun, it has to go off, Zach.
I don't mind
But
the
you
gun
don't-
going off.
But I
Find
don't.
another way for them to survive it than just like a book or whatever.
I don't want the
in front of their heart.
consequences of the gun going off, though.
It'll never be done as well as it was in the 1989 Batman with when Michael Keaton gets nuts or whatever. That's when it works. But here, I just, don't love it here. It's another small thing with the script I bumped on. I guess one other little small thing I wanted to bring up in terms of the cast that I really love that we bring back Noah Segan here. Trooper Wagner, is back as a different character here. The local,
My gosh.
he's so good here. He is so
I didn't
good.
even connect it that was Trooper Wagner.
Yeah, love the idea of just a random guy in the island who's not a part of anything going on. Yeah.
He's going through some stuff. Like,
I love that.
he's not a part of the experience.
Yeah, but he's not a part of the experience. Yeah, that's great way to describe him.
But I like that Benoit Blanc and him are just enjoying a
That's a
cigar
great
or
last
whatever it
image.
is. At the very,
This is a smokeless gun.
as Benoit Blanc was ready to watch all these people burn in a house that he didn't know how it was going to explode. I didn't even think about that, honestly, but that is a good point. Cole, what did you think about the ending?
I was very satisfied, and I love the Janelle Monáe, like, look into the camera, doing the Mona Lisa pose, the is she looking at you, is she not? But the fact Miles got what he deserved was really all I needed for the ending to be satisfying to me, because Rian Johnson makes it such a point to make him so disdainable, similar to with Ransom. You create so much disdain for her character. It's okay. Are you back again?
Are you again?
I actually really enjoyed the end. The ending. I thought the breaking all the glass pieces, throwing the clear, exploding the island. I was just like, okay. Corey talked about hat on a hat a lot. I think that's like 7 hats on a hat. I'm not sure, but it was a lot.
I don't really know what that means, but it feels like it fits in this situation.
Well,
do we have any other?
Corey, I'm glad you asked if you have anything else. I didn't put it in the thing because
I remember there being a game that we talked about.
I didn't want you to remember and think about it. And while I trust you, I didn't want you to do any research for the game.
I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't do that.
So this film is called Glass Onion. Glass Onion is track 3 of the Beatles' White Album, and it also ends the film with the hard cut to credits. That's Beatles' Glass Onion. If anyone recalls from Knives Out, a movie named after a Radiohead song, we played, is this a Radiohead song or is it a mystery film?
Are there really that many mystery films that we could do this again?
Surprised. I think they're maybe a little loose with these definitions. I just went on the Wikipedia of list of mystery films,
That's fine.
And some of them it may not be like, its number one genre might not be a mystery film, but like there's a mystery to it, at least in all of these. Like they had like Scream listed on there. So it's like Scream and mystery film. Yeah, but that's not like the first genre you would say. It's loose enough in that regard. So Corey did really well with this game last time.
I did.
Better than, maybe I anticipated. I thought he'd do well, not as well as, he did better than I thought, put it that way. So I'm making it a bit harder this time. Not by changing the game, because we don't need to overthink this, but the number that we're going to set for Corey to quote unquote win the game. So I'm getting my phone out to kind of mark down, how many you got. So are you ready to play? You're going to have to say Beatles or mystery. All right.
Yes or no?
Do you understand?
Yes. Beatles or mystery. I will also keep count.
All right. So Beatles or detective?
Beatles or mystery?
Or mystery, yes.
Or
Beatles
detective.
or mystery. Let's say mystery.
Beatles.
All right.
Or mystery.
I have 26 of them here.
God. Okay.
Hey, let's say, Corey, the number you should shoot for is 20. Can you get to 20 of 26?
Can we say 17?
17. All right, fine. If you're not that confident. I think you can do it 20, but if you're not that.
Okay, fine. We'll try. I'll go for 20, but I
right.
think 17 I should
Number-
be passing.
1.
Here
Yellow
we go.
Submarine.
Beatles.
Yes. You see, you got it. Number 2.
I got this.
Death on the Nile.
That's mystery.
He's got it. All right. Look, you're already 18 away from 20. All right. My Gun is Quick.
Mystery.
He's got it. That darn cat.
Beatles.
Wrong. It's a mystery film.
Dang it. I just gonna say it didn't sound like Beatles.
5. Kiss the Girls.
Beatles.
Wrong.
What?
Yep. Thought you might say that. All right. 6.
You said it in a way that made me think.
Just listen to the title. Don't listen to how I say things. All right. 6. She Came In Through the Bathroom Window.
Beatles.
Yes. Good job. Of course it is. All right. 7.
Yes.
Do You Want to Know a Secret?
Beatles.
Yes. Look at you go.
Yes.
8.
It's so good.
No Reply.
Beatles.
Oh, look at him go. Oh my God, he's on fire.
Here
9.
we go. We're moving.
Wild Things.
Mystery.
Oh, look at him go. He's got it.
Here we go. Okay.
Great motion picture.
10. The Night Before.
Beatles.
Oh my gosh, he's got it. 11. The Two Jakes.
Mystery.
Yes. It's actually the sequel to Chinatown from the 90s, early 90s.
Oh,
Yeah.
look at that.
12. Maxwell's Silver Hammer.
Beatles.
Yes. Track Figure on Abbey Road.
Yes.
13. Oh, Where Man.
Beatles.
Yes, look at him go.
Oh my God.
Corey, number 14. Who is killing the great chefs of Europe?
Beatles.
The Beatles are not. It is a mystery film. The Beatles are not killing the great chefs of
Dang
Europe.
it.
All right.
I thought that was too obvious.
15. Tomorrow Never Know.
Beatles.
Yes. 16. She Said, She Said.
Beatles.
Yes. 17.
Yes.
A Day in the Life.
I'm going to go mystery.
It's a Beatles song. Some say the best Beatles song.
Dang it.
When Rolling Stone did their top 100 Beatles songs ever, A Day in the Life was number 1.
I'll have to. I don't know if I'm
Closing
familiar
track
with that
on
one by the
Sgt. Pepper
title.
album. 18. The Blackbird.
Beatles.
Wrong. There is a Beatles song called Blackbird, but this is The
my
Blackbird.
gosh.
I'm
Come
so
on. You
sorry.
deserve I'm sorry.
I'm bummed. I'm sorry. 19. Blue Jay Way.
Stupid. Mystery.
That is a Beatles song, I'm afraid.
Well, I think I have to get the rest perfect.
Well, maybe you can. 20. The Alphabet Murders.
Beatles.
It's a mystery film. What kind of song would the Alphabet Murders be, you goose? All right.
I don't know. A good song.
It probably would have been.
I've got
21.
Corey at 8
Happiness
wrong.
is a warm gun. He's not going to.
I have 7.
That's Happiness is a warm gun.
It's getting hard and I want to get it right. Mystery.
No, it's a Beatles song.
I knew it.
22. Helter Skelter.
Mystery.
That's a Beatles song. It's a Beatles
What
song.
am I doing?
Yeah. That one's got some dark history with maybe inspiring Marilyn Manson, or not Marilyn. Charlie Manson. I would say
Charles.
Marilyn Manson. Charlie Manson.
I was going to say Marilyn Manson was the artist.
Probably inspired him too, but that different,
Right.
different context. Exactly. All right. 23. Song of the Thin Man.
This is so embarrassing. I think mystery.
That's a mystery film. You got it. Yeah.
Thank God.
24.
Thank God.
Can you finish strong? 3 left. 3 left. Can you finish strong?
Feels like an
24. They only kill their masters.
Beatles.
That's a mystery film. It's a mystery film. Come
Damn
on.
it.
God, you show prep. 5. Tell Me What You See.
Mystery.
Beatles. It's a Beatles song.
I knew it. What? I need to go with my second guess every single time.
All right. Last one. Number 26.
Thank God.
Everybody's got something to hide except for me and my monkey.
I want to go Beatles, so I'm going to go mystery. and
It's a
gonna be
Beatles song,
so
you stupid idiot. It's a It's a
I
John
know.
Lennon. That's a John Lennon classic on the White Album.
I wanted to go Beatles, and so that's what. So it was my second guess, mystery, and I was wrong. So it's Beatles. Of
You know
course.
what? I'll throw in a Cole. No, Corey failed. By the way, we don't even need to go over the score. Corey failed. That's for sure.
Yeah, I didn't. I didn't get it. I may not even have gotten half.
What's your Mount Rushmore Beatles songs?
Ooh, that's God. We
I got
just
Let It Be, Hey Jude,
Mm.
Yellow Submarine yesterday. Boom.
Cole, would this be
I didn't
easier? What
show
if I give
prep.
you, I know, I should have put this one on here. Honestly, I probably should have put it on the document, but I was afraid Corey would then remember the game and then cheat. So that's why I didn't put this prompt on
That
the show
cheating
document.
bastard.
I don't cheat.
Well, the thing is, if I asked Corey to do this, then he would look up Beatles songs that he would put on his Mount Rushmore, and then by doing so, see Beatles songs.
Would look up, yeah.
So that's why I couldn't put it on the document.
I had mine off the top of my head. I know Beatles song like it's the back of my hand.
I'm going to
As
go
was just discovered.
Sgt. Pepper song, Sgt. Pepper
Yes.
off the album, Sgt.
The
Pepper.
titular song.
Let me see. There's so many. Ticket to Ride is really good. Don't know if it's on there. Yeah, Twist and Shout is for sure on there. I Saw Her Standing There, both off their first album. That one's phenomenal. Then
That
I'm
is a
gonna
very good
end
one.
off of a Rubber Soul song, In My Life. I love In My
That's a
Life.
good one. That's a good one.
It's a very pretty one. It's a very pretty one. Okay.
Zach, do you have yours?
I love the Beatles. Beatles are my favorite band. Maybe on another day I'd give you a even more well thought out answer to my own question that I forgot that I would have, so it's not super well thought out, but with about 1 minute of research, I came under the conclusion that my Mount Rushmore in no order would be Strawberry Fields, Back in the USSR, A Day in the Life, and Something.
Oh.
Yeah.
Back in the USSR is a good one.
I thought that might be one you like, Corey. But yeah, if maybe
forgot-
one day
I
we'll have a
forgot about
Beatles podcast and we'll talk a lot more about the Beatles, but probably not.
that would be lovely.
All you need is lovely. You can say that. Moving
And
on.
with that, on to the award season.
Apparently they strayed off course, and we're fairly certain they're in guerrilla hands.
So why don't you use the regular army? What do you need us for?
Because some damn fool accused you of being the best.
So Cole came up with our order. Zach, you get to go first.
I'm gonna go Daniel Craig. I'm gonna go Daniel Craig for this one.
Mm.
So like when we were talking about the
Good one.
cast earlier, if you're gonna make a cast of generally like, quote unquote like unlikable people. I mean, they all have some qualities maybe you can latch onto, but of unlikable kind of obnoxious people, you need like that beacon in the center of the cast to draw you in and hold you in. And like Benoit Blanc is one of my favorite movie characters, probably full stop, but especially in modern like active franchises for sure. That are still ongoing. Like I love Daniel Craig's portrayal here, and he gets to have some cool outfits here. I like his looks in this movie. Costume design, another great effort from the costume designers here in this movie. So, and also he might be even funnier. Like I said, this movie is funnier than the first one. I think maybe there's more jokes at least. I do think Daniel Craig is funnier in this movie. I mean, the moment where he spoils the game, like Miles' game by like, oh, have we started? Okay, like and then he just rattles off the mystery. Yeah. And he solves it. That is a really, really funny Daniel Craig moment with Benoit Blanc here. So I think he might even get a bit more to do in this movie. So yeah, Daniel Craig is the MVP of Glass Onion for sure for me.
Cole, who is your MVP for Glass Onion, Knives Out Mystery?
I'm going to go to, you know what? I've really been thinking about this. Rian Johnson. I think the script is still phenomenal, even if it gets a little silly at times, but I still think it's really great.
Great pick, Cole. My MVP for Glass Onion, a Knives Out Mystery is Brett Howe and Mary Verneau. I believe that's how you pronounce her name. Verneau. They are both the casting directors, co-casting directors for this movie. I believe Brett Howe, maybe he was definitely the casting director for Knives Out, the first Knives Out. I think this cast, even though we talked about it, the dialogue isn't necessarily there. I don't think that's their issue. I think that was more of a Rian Johnson issue and maybe more of a studio issue. But I think the cast is great. I thought Kathryn Hahn, Leslie Odom, I thought all of them were really good in their parts. I honestly wish we would have gotten a little bit more of them. Instead, we spent a lot of time with Janelle Monáe, who is great, by the way, but it's just like we don't know who she is. And then we're kind of filling in the gaps and kind of reestablishing the entire character. I wish we would have gotten a little more from all of them. So casting director Brett Howe and Mary Verneau were absolutely fantastic in this movie. So they are my MVP. On to the review section.
Says that they insist on outside opinions.
What kind of opinions?
Well, your kind, not to put too fine a point on it. I mean, Let's face it, in your particular field, you're the top minds.
Zach, would you like to go first for your review of Knives Out?
So, Corey, you mentioned this word earlier, and I was like, I already had it in my review section. I think it's just because, it's clear. It's a clear way to describe the movie. Short and sweet here. More timely, but not as timeless as its predecessor. 3.25 out of 5.
Can I snap? I feel like we're Jonah Hill in 22 Jump Street.
Yes, sir. It is artistic.
My review. Audiences wondered, and we delivered. What would happen if you strip all the great aspects from the first one and just really rely on Daniel Craig the entire time? Honestly, you still get a movie worthy of a sequel, but definitely taking a step back. 3 out of 5.
All right.
On to the post-credits scene.
You're still here. It's over. Go home.
What did we have for the post-credits scene? I just watched Oh Hi. Zach, I saw that was on your wanting to watch list.
I am wanting to watch, yeah.
I would recommend watching it. I'd recommend watching it. Molly Gordon, she produced it. She was like one of the main people. Is that right? I think she's like had a hand in making this movie, which I was like, oh my gosh, very interesting. She's very good in it. From The Bear fame.
Mm-hmm.
She's from The Bear. She's the girlfriend in The Bear. She's very, very good in it. I put it on hoping to just like find a movie that would help me go to sleep. It was late at night and I was like, oh, this one looks fun. And I couldn't turn it off. And I stayed up the entire night watching it. So I really liked it. Highly recommend it. I believe it is on Netflix. Not to support big business, but it is on Netflix. So unfortunately, you know what's crazy? I just got an HBO Max subscription.
You just got one?
I just got one.
That is odd timing, but that's surprising. I feel like we've talked about things that were on HBO Max.
Well, I've seen stuff on HBO Max, but I've never had one. I've always had to like figure out how to see it.
Okay. It's my favorite of all the streamings. I think it's got the best catalog overall.
Well, I really wanted to watch The Batman recently and I couldn't. So that when they did their Black Friday sale, I had to do it. Anyway, Zach, what have you been watching?
I did get around. I did see Wicked.
Sorry,
Wicked for Good.
Yeah.
I'm not crazy about it. No. I wasn't a big fan of the first one, so my reaction here to this one shouldn't be a big shock to anyone. I liked the first one. I think I gave it like a 3 out of 5. This one, I just about 2/3 into this new one, I had 2 big thoughts with this movie. I guess we can even say 3, but 3. Okay, first thought. This one I just added thought here. It's everyone's saying it, so not a big thing. Songs aren't quite as good as the first one. Kind of like what you were saying, Corey.
No, I didn't.
So that's one big kind of demerit with this one. Second thing is the lighting was really bad. And that sounds so like a pretentious film thing to say. But when you watch the movie and once that thought is in your head and then you're watching it, it's like every scene, it is like, this is just like the least interesting way they could have shot this scene. Like with the look of it. And I don't know. I feel like bringing up lighting is such a film student thing to do. So I don't like doing it. But when it's this egregious, I was like, oh my gosh, this is just like this has the Netflix look to it. You know, it kind of looks like a streaming movie. Like it just does not scream like every scene was set up to be like, how can we make this look dynamic and interesting? That is just not the mindset that was there. That was never more evident than like later that night, my girlfriend and I, we watched Titanic. Cole actually came over and watched it with us. And it is so clear.
So romantic.
Yeah, it was a very romantic setting. There was room for all 3 of us on that door that night and in the cold waters that we were avoiding. That movie is shot so well. I mean, James Cameron shoots that movie incredibly. Like it looks so good. Every frame of that movie looks so good. And just every frame in Wicked for Good just feels so like, all right, let's get it going. Let's get this done. Not a lot of care in that regard.
I do plan on watching it again. Definitely not in theaters. So I'll have to keep that in mind next time I see it.
And then the last thing was, I don't want to spoil it for people, but like, it felt like
go ahead.
Halfway through, 2/3 in, I was like, I almost feel like we're right where we left off in the first movie. And we're like an hour plus into this movie. Like they kind of cycle, like, okay, we're back to, we almost trusted the wizard, but now we don't trust the wizard again. And the Wicked Witch is still supposed to be, people are being told to be scared of the Wicked Witch. And it's like, this is the first half of this movie just brings us right back to where we were when the first movie ended. And it just feels like there's a world out there where they consolidated these 2 movies into one really good, like 2 hour, 45, 50-minute movie. instead of the
So the
2+ hour movies that we got.
play, as I know of it, is about 3 hours. I think it's an hour and a half, a break, another maybe it's like closer to 2 hours, a break, and then the last hour of the performance. And so I think what they were trying to do is they added stuff, added fluff, added cushion, all this kind of
They
all
added
these things
songs
to
in
make
the new
it.
one. They added songs in the new one.
I did notice that one as well.
They
I
didn't need
could
to do
not
that.
tell you what song they added.
I believe it was
I've heard the name of it.
the one where
and
I think it was
can't-
2 songs. I think Elphaba had a new one where she's like singing about the animals,
I know
being
Glinda.
home with the animals, and then the bubble one with Ariana Grande. Girl
when
in a
she
bubble.
first gets the bubble.
No, it was later. Where she's looking at all the mirrors. They're doing a lot of mirror shots. They're fine. I mean, it's just, yeah. You could have cut it down. Could have trimmed it. But again, I wasn't a big music. I had never seen the musical. I'm not a Wicked super fan. It's probably not for me. I do think there's some quality there. I do think the lead 2 performances and Jonathan Bailey. So I guess the lead 3 performances, good. They're all good. And
Really like
costumes
Jonathan Bailey.
all look good. Sure. So there are positives there.
Sure.
And then the other thing I watched, I'm not going to go
So
on and on about it.
enthusiastic.
I wish I talked more about this next thing than the Wicked, because I have more to say about Frankenstein than Wicked. But my voice is
I
already
saw
straining as it is, so I'll just say Frankenstein, saw it. Didn't love the changes from the book. Loved the Frankenstein novel by Mary Shelley. Didn't love the changes they made for this Netflix movie.
Can you name one big one? I was trying to think of it. I saw your Letterboxd review of it, and I was trying to think of one like a big
One big one. They made him
change
like a.
in
I mean,
the
he was
book,
always
and I don't think I
strong
remember
in the
the book
book.
enough.
He was always strong.
Uh-huh.
He wasn't superhero regeneration powers. And
you like that.
yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. And the entire last act of the book is consolidated and sped up here. And that's, I don't know. I just didn't like that. It felt like it kind of cheapened everything at the end. And I don't know if I needed a character to say out loud, "You're the real monster, Victor." Thank you. I get it. Everyone who is we are just getting so much dumber as society, and it's just like, you know what? And that screams guy in Netflix office saying, "Hey, make sure they get that. Make sure you have to add the line in there like that because they're probably folding laundry." You need to make sure that someone says that the audience is folding laundry. Make sure somebody says Victor's the monster out loud, just so everyone's clear. And that's like, when you hear about the merger, it's like, that's the future of movies, is writing like that. Writing made specifically for people to kind of passively
I don't
watch.
think so.
I hope not. I know maybe I'm being cynical, but man, that was a tough line reading there in Frankenstein. But overall, I like the movie.
Really don't think so.
I love the design of the movie. I love the costumes. Most of the performances I'm a big fan of. So overall, I like it. I do like it. But I had some qualms, for sure.
I want to say one thing before we move on. A Wicked for Good. One thing I didn't like about it that I wanted to mention just before we move on from it. I never saw the play. I heard about after I saw the first one. I did get the story spoiled for me, but I really liked the first one. I think I gave it 4.5, maybe 5. I really, really liked the first one. I thought it was great. Thought the songs were great. I thought the acting was great. I really liked the main characters. So I was really high on the first one. So I was really excited for the second one. It felt like this movie was trying so hard to say like, no, this is Wizard of Oz. This is Wizard of Oz, when it really didn't need to be. I think just like that it was like loosely connected was enough to like get hype. And even though the play did that, I don't know that the movie necessarily needed to do that. Like the different audiences, like the people that are going to go see the musical, the people that are going to go to the theater and watch this in person, you're getting a different audience when you have a theatrical version of this play. And so like, I understand being true to the source material, but like, I don't like the people that say like, oh, if you see the book, the movie's so much better. I don't think that should be the case. You should present something the way that it makes sense and is entertaining and it can stand alone. You should not rely on other things. But even so, I don't think that they necessarily needed to have this shoehorned in. This is how the Tin Man was created. This is how the Lion was created. This is how the Scarecrow was created. Yeah. Because it felt very cheap and just like, we're the Wizard of Oz, don't you forget. Because there was no, like, Glinda and Elphaba are entertaining despite them being in The Wizard of Oz, not because of it. And I feel like they got lost in that.
That's a
Anyway,
good way to phrase it.
the next episode that we have coming out is Avatar: The Way of Water. That is streaming on Disney Plus, one of the streaming services that is not a conglomerate. Oh, wait, no, it is a conglomerate. That is right. And we're just falling deeper and deeper into the madness that is big corporations controlling media, not to get too political. But the next episode is going to be Avatar: The Way of Water, looking ahead at the Knives Out. Knives Out, they're the third one, Wake Up Dead Man, is out in theaters right now, November 26th when it came out, and then it will be out on Netflix December 12th. And then Way of Water, I will kind of give I was going to give an update on Fire and Ash, but we could do that in the next one. But that comes out in theater December 14th. So go see that one. That is a theatrical movie. If there's ever one to see, that's the one to see it. But until then, keep watching movies. See ya.